Hey everyone, Alison here from Ladner Village Arts and Crafts, and I'm going to attempt a crochet tutorial. I normally leave this up to my crochet teaching partner, Kim, but I've got her focused on other things. So we are going to be doing a knit and crochet knitted knockers event coming up on Saturday, October 21st. And I've had a few questions about the pattern for specifically the crocheted knockers. I hadn't had a chance to tackle it up until a few days ago. I have tackled it now, and there are a few things that I think would benefit from a video tutorial like this. So in case you don't know what knitted knockers are, these are basically prosthesis for women who have lost their breasts due to breast cancer. And they get stuffed with a nice soft stuffing, and they just sit inside a woman's bra, and they mimic your natural breast because they're nice and soft. This is the crocheted version. I don't have a sample here of the knitted version, although there is one at the store. But yeah, so this is a size C cup, and on the pattern there's up to, I think, a double D. So what you are going to need to make this, a copy of the pattern. So this is the crocheted version of the pattern, and we have these in our store. They're also available online. I'm going to put a link in the notes for this, linking to the page that we have on our website about the event and about knitted knockers in general. There's tons of links within that page where you can find the pattern. You can find a list of recommended yarn and all that kind of stuff. There is a video tutorial for the crochet knitted knockers it's knittedknockers.org. That's the US organization. We didn't find it overly helpful, so hopefully this one will be a little bit more focused. Okay, so what do you need? You need the pattern and you need yarn. Now we carry two of the recommended yarns, the Noble Cotton by Cascade. So this is a mercerized 3-weight cotton, and also the Kobu from Lion Brand. You'll see the Kobu has this approved by Knitted Knockers badge on it. The Noble Cotton does not, but it is on the list, and there is a full list on the basket at the store, as well as, like I said, on our webpage and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to bring a substitute, please do. Make sure you have the yarn label. That's really, really important. When we send them to Knitted Knockers of Canada, we're going to be sending the label so they know that this is made with an approved yarn. Okay. When we send them as well, we are sending them unstuffed, which makes it so easy. You don't even have to sew in any ends. Awesome. Okay, what else do you need? You need a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook and stitch markers. These are really, 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 really important. I cannot stress that enough. If you do not have the stitch markers, you will completely lose your place, because we are going to be crocheting in a continuous round, and we're going to be marking where our increases and decreases are. So you need 3 stitch markers, 2 in one color and 1 in a different color. And I will explain why as we go. You'll also need a pair of scissors for the very end. So I am going to be working with the rest of my Noble Cotton ball of yarn. So this is the remainder of my cake of yarn from making my C-sized knockers. And I'm just going to, full disclaimer, I didn't actually do a gauge swatch, so maybe they're not quite a C size. Who knows? The pattern is written for a type of yarn that I actually think has been discontinued, so I have no idea on the yardage of that particular yarn that they are using. It said I needed 1 skein of yarn to make the C size, and then you need 2 for the D. I think you could probably get away with 1 skein of the Noble Cotton for all the sizes, but I haven't tried like a double D. That might be next on my agenda. But because I have so much left, I'm going to try making the A size, which is the smallest size, and see if I can get 2 full pairs from 1 skein of yarn, which would be amazing. Okay, so to start, we are going to make a magic circle. Now, this particular video is not going to be a tutorial video. I will try and go slowly for the magic circle, but there are lots and lots of videos on YouTube on how to do a magic circle. And if I go too fast or you need extra help, please go and Google crocheted magic circle. There's even a couple different ways. This is the way that I was taught to do it. So you take the tail end, you pinch it sort of behind, like inside your hand, and then you wrap it on your 2 fingers twice, creating an X. You take your hook, you go under that first piece of yarn, grab the second, bring it back, and then hook it back over. I know, I went way too fast. And then I secure it with a chain. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. I'm holding my tail underneath my hand. I wrap my yarn, create an X, put my hook underneath the first leg of the X, grab the second leg, pull it underneath that first one, twist, grab the yarn with my hook, twist it through, and secure it with a chain 1. And like I said, if you need more help, go and Google it. Okay, pattern. Let's talk stitch markers for one tiny second. My 2 yellow ones are going to be marking my first 2 increases, and my pink one is going to be marking my last increase. Before we get to the increases though, it's going to be marking my last stitch of the round, because we're not closing each round, we're working in continuous rounds. So I'm going to mark my last stitch of the round. Okay, first round. Work 6 single crochet into that magic ring. 2, and 6. Okay, and you can just count your V's. Get my hook out of the way so you can see my V's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then close your ring. That's what the instruction says. That's what it means. You don't, we're not going to join with a slip stitch. What I'm going to do though is put my stitch marker in that last stitch. And now we're going to work a basic magic circle increase, which is 2 single crochets in each stitch. Sorry, I just got this twisted a little bit. Let's untwist that. There we go. Okay, so 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So by the end of the round, you will have 12 single crochets. That first stitch is going to be hard to get your hook into, so just kind of use your fingers. Ooh, goodness. The Noble Cotton, because it's mercerized and because it's a 3-weight, does tend to be slippery and tricky for beginners. So just take your time and be patient. Okay, so 2 single crochet into each stitch. I'm going to keep going and I'll meet you up when I'm done. Okay, I've reached my last stitch where my stitch marker is, so I'm just going to pull that out. I need to put 2 single crochets in there. So there's 1, there's 2. Once I complete that last single crochet, I'm going to replace my stitch marker. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to replace your stitch markers. Because we're working in continuous rounds, you will lose your place and you'll have to frog the entire thing. It's very hard to find your place again, at least unless you're an absolute pro at crocheting. I find it hard. Okay, round 3. This is where we start doing the increases. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. So the instructions say work 2 single crochet, increase in next 2 single crochet, PM. What this translates to is we're going to do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Increase in the next 2 single crochets. So that means 2 single crochets in stitch number 3, 2 single crochets in stitch number 4, place marker. So you place your marker in that second single crochet of the increase in that second increase. So I'll show you when we get there. And then it says 3 times. So we're going to repeat that 3 times. Okay, so 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the second stitch, 2 single crochets in the third stitch. So that's 1, 2, 2 single crochets, oops, in the fourth stitch. There's 1, 2. Place marker. So I'm going to put my marker in that, sorry, I'm trying to get all the things out of the way, in that second stitch of the second increase. Okay, so we've crocheted over 4 stitches, but we now have 6 stitches. Okay, and we're going to repeat that. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets in this stitch, 2 single crochets in this stitch. Place marker. Now I should have 4 stitches left, and I do. Hallelujah. So 1 single crochet, another single crochet, 2 single crochets, oopsies, it's 1, 2, remove my stitch marker. I'm going to put 2 single crochets in here, replace stitch marker. Very important. All right, round 4. Oh, it says we should have 18 stitches, and we do, but let's count so you know I'm not lying to you. Okay, so we got 1, 2, I'll pull that up closer to the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where my first stitch marker is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's my second stitch marker. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 where my stitch marker is. Okay. All right. I think I just put my loop through my stitch marker. That's not going to work. Okay. Let's keep going. Round number 4. It says work 4 single crochets and then increase in the next 2 stitches. So the same way we did before, we're just going to work 1 stitch into the first 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we do our 2 increases. So 2 single crochets in this stitch. This is stitch number 5 of the round below. Take my stitch marker out, put 2 single crochets in that stitch. Replace my stitch marker in that last single crochet, and then repeat. So 4, oopsies, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your increase stitches. So 2 in that one. Take my stitch marker out, put 2 in that one. Put my stitch marker back. And then go on to my last repeat. So, oops, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first increase, so 2 in that one stitch, whoopsies. And then take my stitch marker out. 2 in that stitch and replace my stitch marker. The reason I'm using a different color for my last increase is so I have a really strong visual reference to where the end of my round is. Round 5, work 7 single crochets, increase in the next single crochet. So this time, at the end of our increase, we're only going to increase in 1 stitch. So we can put 7 single crochets in the first 7 stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take my stitch marker out. 2, whoopsies, see, it's slippery. 2 single crochets in this stitch. Replace stitch marker. And then we're going to repeat that. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I'll meet you up when I get to my pink marker. Okay, so I've done my 7 single crochets, and now I'm ready to put my increase in my last stitch. So 1, 2. Replace stitch marker. Okay, we're doing great. Now we are up to row 6. So row 6 and row 7 are worded a little bit differently, and there is a reason for that, and it's because we repeat these rows. So they haven't put exact numbers of stitches in because it's going to change with each round. So let's work it together. Row 6. It says work to 1 single crochet before marked single crochet and then increase in the next 2 single crochets. What it means is we are going to single crochet all the way up to the stitch right before your stitch marker. And then in the stitch before your stitch marker, you're going to put 2 single crochets. In the stitch with your stitch marker, you're going to put 2 single crochets. Okay. So let's do that. So that's 1. I'll count for this round and round 7. And you can count if you want for the continual rounds, and you will kind of need to know the count because there is counts given for sizes, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, I said I was going to count and then I didn't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 single crochets. I am at the stitch right before my stitch marker, so I need to put in 2 single crochets. It's 1, 2. Remove my stitch marker, put in 2 single crochets. Replace my stitch marker. Repeat. So in this round, I know that I'm putting in 7 single crochets before I get to where I need to make my increases. The beauty of the way they've written it is that you kind of don't have to count because you just look at the stitches. So now I've reached the stitch before my stitch marker, so I know I need to put my increase in there. So 1, oops, 2. Remove stitch marker, put 2 single crochets in there, replace stitch marker. And then do my last repeat before round 7. Now, the one thing that you might want to keep track of, and you can do this just on like a scrap piece of paper, is just make notes about which round you're on, because it's easy enough to forget, am I on round 6 where I need to increase in the last 2 stitches, or am I on round 7 where I need to increase in only the last stitch? All right, so I reached my last stitch, 2 single crochets in there, replace my stitch marker, and that is the end of round 6. Now round 7, we're going to work the same way, except that it says work to marked single crochet and increase in marked single crochet. So we're only doing 1 stitch increase, and it's in the stitch where the stitch marker is. So just do single crochets all the way up to that stitch, or that stitch marker, and then increase in the stitch with your stitch marker. Okay, that's the last stitch before my stitch marker. Remove stitch marker, and then I do my increase. So 2 single crochets in there, whoopsies. Replace stitch marker. And then do the same thing. Okay, I'm at my last stitch. I'm gonna do my increase and replace my stitch marker. Okay. Now we're gonna repeat round 6 and 7 until we reach a certain stitch count, okay? And it does give you how many stitches you're gonna have per side, depending on the size of cup you're making. So I'm making the A cup, so I wanna continue round 6 and 7 until I have 57 stitches total, or 19 per side. Currently I have 12 per side, and I'll show you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's where my stitch marker is. So I'm gonna work this off camera. I'm gonna repeat round 6 and round 7, and then I will come back to you when I have finished and I have 19 stitches per side, or 57 all the way around. Okay? Okay, I wanted to pop back in because, and this happened to me when I was doing the C cup as well, and I think, I don't know if the maths are wrong, or they just kind of expect you to do what I've done, which is, okay, so I have repeated rows 6 and 7. I currently have 18 stitches per side. So doing the maths, and I just finished a row 7. So if I go back and do another row 6, I'll be adding 2 stitches to that side, which would take it to 20. That doesn't work. So I need to just repeat a row 7. So I guess you kind of have 2 options on your while you're doing the repeats. You either do 2 round 6s to get to the right count, or you do what I'm doing and do 2 round 7s, where you do 2 rounds where you just increase once per stitch marker. I hope that makes sense. It will definitely kind of make sense as you're doing it. But here I am starting my last round, which is going to be another round 7, because I only want to add 1 stitch per side, and then that should give me the 57 stitches that I need. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do my last round 7, my last increase. We will count the stitches together, and hopefully we've got the stitch count correct. And then we'll start on to the next phase, which is doing a couple of sort of sides, I guess, side rows, and then we'll start our decreases. Okay, I've reached my last stitch marker. I'm going to put my last increase in there, and then we will count my stitches. Fingers crossed. We have 57. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, yay, okay. We have the right number of stitches. So we can move on. The next 2 rounds, about to lose my stitch there. The next 2 rounds call for doing, it says work 2 rounds even through the back loop only. What they mean is you're not doing any increases. You're just going to work single crochets into the back loop only in every single stitch. Do not take out your stitch markers and forget to put them back in. Okay, keep your stitch markers in that stitch as we go around, because you will need them again for your decreases. All right, so back loop only, single crochet all the way around. So this is pretty self-explanatory, especially if you have crochet experience, which you need to have to make these. But I'll just do that first side. Take you to the first stitch marker, just so you see what I do here. I mean, it's not rocket science. I'm just gonna take the stitch marker out, make my single crochet back loop only, put my stitch marker back in. Okay, so we're not doing any increases. Just 1 single crochet in the back loop only of every stitch around. Oops, split my yarn there. Okay, I've reached my stitch marker. So take my stitch marker out, put my single crochet back loop only in, replace stitch marker. Keep going. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and once I've got to the end of my second round, I'll come back and we'll start to do our decreases. Okay, I am at my last stitch of my second round of my single crochet back loop only. Replace my stitch marker. I'll show you what we have so far. Ooh. Okay, so we've got 2 rounds of single crochet back loop only, and that basically is creating this sort of side seam, if you want to call it the body. I don't know what to call it, but anyways, that's the side bit. Now we're going to start our decreases. All right, so to do the decreases, what we are going to do is we're going to start with a single crochet 2 tog, so 2 single crochets together, and then we are going to single crochet to 1 stitch before the marked single crochet and do another single crochet 2 tog. So what you will end up with is actually 2 single crochet 2 togs right next to each other, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to start, and in this one we are going in both loops. We're not doing back loop only. Okay, so we're gonna let's start that again. I realize I haven't been doing much tutorial because I expect you guys to know what you're doing, but let's slow this down and show you what a single crochet 2 tog looks like. Okay, so you're going to insert your hook under that first stitch, pull up a loop. Do not finish off your single crochet. Instead, insert your hook under the next stitch and pull up a loop. Now you've got 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull through all 3. So that is your single crochet 2 tog. Okay, now we're going to single crochet all the way to 1 stitch before your stitch marker. Just regular old single crochets. And I'm not counting my stitches, FYI. I am just trusting on my stitch markers, which is why it's really, 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 really important. Have I mentioned that? It's really important to make sure you replace your stitch markers every single time in the correct stitch. Do not mess it up. You will regret it. Oh, goodness. All right, so I am one stitch right before my stitch marker. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker and I'm going to do my single crochet 2 tog. Okay. Replace my stitch marker. If you can get it in there, replace your stitch marker. Now you're repeating that, so you're going to start with a single crochet 2 tog. Don't start it in the stitch that you've just completed. I'm going to go to the next stitch, do your 2 single crochets together, and then keep going single crochet to 1 stitch before your next stitch marker. So we will do this round together, and then I will take this off camera and I will finish off until I get to the last round. Now you basically do this until you get down to a total of 15 stitches, so 5 stitches per side. So like I said a minute ago, I'm not actually counting my stitches. I will start counting my stitches when I figure I'm getting close to having 5 per side. Okay, one last single crochet. I'm going to take out my stitch marker and do my single crochet 2 tog, put my stitch marker back in. Oops. Do my next single crochet 2 tog. It is tempting to just, after you do that 1 single crochet 2 tog, to just keep going with your single crochets, but just remember you need to have 2 decreases at each stitch marker. Okay. Okay, I'm at my last 2 stitches of this round. We're going to do our single crochet 2 tog, replace my stitch marker. Now, we're going to keep repeating this exact thing. However, you're going to start running into your single crochet 2 togs. So, I've just done a single crochet 2 tog. I'm going to do another one, and it is actually into my very first single crochet 2 tog. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Sometimes as you're doing this, those decreased stitches are going to start looking maybe a little bit strange to you, because there might seem like there's just too many legs on your stitches. There's not. It's totally fine. So I'm approaching my next stitch marker. I've got 2 stitches, so I'm going to take that out, do my 2 tog, put it back in, do another 2 tog. and keep going. Okay, so continue that until you have a total of 5 stitches per side, or 15 total. So I will meet you back here when I'm at that point. Alrighty, see you in a bit. Right, so I'm getting close. I've just finished off a round and counting my stitches on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got maybe a couple rounds to go. Okay, so let's just do this next little bit together. As you can see, we are pulling in our sides, creating this inside look. Oops, split my yarn there. Let's try that again. Okay, so let's just, I should have 6 stitches, but let's just confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to make it a little bit awkward figuring out the next decrease. And I don't think I have made any mistakes. It's entirely possible I have, but I don't think I have. And so let's just get to the end of this round, and then we will count the total number of stitches together. And then move on. Okay, so that's the end of my round, and this is where that different color stitch marker is really coming in handy, because that tells me, oh, that's the end of your round. Okay, stitches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think I've definitely done something wrong. I don't seem to have the same number of stitches per side, but let's just persevere. When in doubt, just keep going. Okay. So we're going to tog. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, that should have been a 2 tog. Yeah, so I think I've definitely not paid attention and done something somewhere where my sides are off. So 1, 2, 3, that was 4. 5, 7, 8. 10, 11, 12, 13. So I end up with 15 stitches. I did not do my last decrease here. I'm honestly not going to worry about it too much. So I can take my stitch markers out. I'm going to cut my yarn. Now, they ask to have 10-inch tail. And then tapestry needle. So I'm going to pull this out. And with my tapestry needle, we are going to sew around each stitch, front loop only. Okay, so we're not closing this. We are preparing it to be stuffed, but we don't have to stuff it ourselves, which is awesome. But once the Knitted Knockers organization stuffs them, then they can just pull on this tail and close it off. And then these will be ready to be given to somebody who needs them. Get the last couple of stitches here. And then we're back at the beginning. Okay, and that is it. Take your tail, tuck it inside, and then you're done that one, and you can make another one. Okay, so that is the A cup, that is the C cup. All right, hope that helps. Like I said, we're going to be hosting an event where we're all going to just sit and crochet these together. That is Saturday, October 21st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And just come. We do appreciate and require an RSVP. There's no charge to it though. Please bring your own supplies. If you purchase yarn from our store, you will get a 20% discount. Just let us know you're buying it for the Knitted Knockers. And like I said, we've got two brands. So the Noble Cotton and the Kobu both are accepted, and neutral colors like these are preferred. So white or white and black as well. We brought in some brown tones in the Noble Cotton as well. So yeah, hope to see you all there. Hope this is helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye.